What is your NSFW secret that you are proud of? My dick is fantastically average, but looks huge on my 5'2" frame. I had sex with my ex and she wanted to change positions and I bumped my toe on the side of the bed and I broke it. I finished having sex and then she drove me to the ER. I won Best Go-Go Dancer at the Miss Nude North America pageant in 1981. Still have the trophy. Edit, 1991. My apologies, tens of thousands of young people have seen my penis. Post-college I worked at another university where they provided my medical care out of their own facilities. My primary care physician was the one who would give the safe sex and other adult lectures to incoming freshmen. Part of his lecture was about body piercing, the dangers of not doing it safely, etc. As this was early internet days, there weren't a lot of pictures he could reference during the lecture. When I had my first annual exam and he saw my Prince Albert piercing, he asked if he could photograph it and use it in his lecture. It was an odd request, but I agreed. A few months later he emailed me with the PowerPoint presentation he used and sure enough my dick was in it. He did this lecture for over 20 years, twice a year, for all incoming students. I like to think I might have helped someone get into piercing safely or even sparked a conversation that went to a place that some young person never expected it to go. One time years ago I was in bed with my girlfriend watching a movie and she made a move but I wanted to use the bathroom before getting into it. I excuse myself, use the bathroom and come back into my room to see she's already naked waiting on me, so I'm like, oh damn, it's about to go down, I can't just jump out of my clothes, I gotta amp this up on my end to build some anticipation. I start to undress slowly, get out of my pants and start rolling up my belt like she's seen me do 100 times before I set it down. Except this time I unraveled it like a whip to hit the light switch and her jaw hit the floor. I proceeded to lay down a solid 45-55 seconds of acceptable whinering. What I did not tell her was the day before my roommate and I were bored and we spent like 2 hours in the basement just seeing if we could hit the light switch with our belts because we're simple. A bisexual girl once complimented me on my oral skills. Life has been only downhill from there. By no means do I have a huge dick, so when I saw a urologist for ED medication, I made a joke about not being able to see my penis to insert the needle. BTW, if you have severe ED or don't want to worry about Viagra on a full stomach, Tree Mix is absolutely your best bet. The nurse then commented, trust me, you have way more real estate than the rest of the men that come in here. I felt like I was on top of the world, but my wife wasn't thrilled when I told her what happened. I've done 2 gigs as a nude male model for bachelorette parties. It was a lot of fun. At the second gig they specifically wanted me to pose with an erection. I absolutely loved the experience, getting the blowy from the HR manager in her office. Had sex in an outdoor hot tub surrounded by snow, under the northern lights. We were out on a 5-day trip with the in-laws. My wife and I have banged in every province in Canada. Next up, the territories. I was the president of the student government in college. I had an office that was just a desk behind a cubicle. My girlfriend, the secretary of the student government, liked to give me the Clinton while people were right on the other side of that knot wall. On the one hand, frequent blowjobs was really cool. On the other hand, the thrill of potentially getting caught isn't for me. Alright, different kind of NSFW. I escaped an attacker by stabbing him in the face. Using the broken bottle I managed to grab a hold of. Real classy stuff, but what with him being a pretty big guy, and my being a sample-sized lady, I was quite pleased with myself. I once drank about 300 milliliters of water directly out of my lab's nano-pure water system. This is highly purified and deionized water. In fact, it's about as pure as water can get. Internet opinion is divided over whether or not this is safe, or if it will kill you, and I wanted to see for myself. I can report that it is not pleasant to drink and is probably not safe to drink in large volumes. It tastes horrible, probably because it leaches minerals out of your teeth and mouth tissues * literally as you're drinking it *, and very shortly after consuming it you will feel * massive * need to urinate, which is probably not a good sign either. I got a fertility test to make sure my chemo treatments didn't render me infertile. They didn't. When giving me the results over the phone, the tech couldn't hide how impressed they were by the volume I produced. A professional expert told me I shoot huge loads. Man with light skin tone shrugging. A very famous rock star tried to get a friend of mine to go back to their place. She kindly declined and ended up going back to mine instead. We then dated for a couple of years. I worked the ramp for a major airline in the 90s. Nearly every flight has a corpse on it. Yes, you are probably flying with a dead person just beneath your feet. The boxes that transport the traveling dead were always cardboard, shaped like a coffin, with the word head at the top. If you'd put the head the wrong way, fluids would drain out of orifices on the head, from what they told us. I moved the nomadic dead day after day after day, off the tugs and up into the belly. There was a head and another. We moved animals a lot, too. But the dead were more fascinating. I began to wonder who they were and where they were going. I talked to a friend that worked with me. He was a ramp worker during Vietnam. He said that, occasionally, a ramp agent would sit the corpse up so it was seated when the plane landed and spooked the person opening the belly. My curiosity was just crazy, seeing these ghostly riders come aboard every day. Finally, I asked my coworker what would happen if we looked inside. He climbed into the belly and opened one, before I had time to think about it. I didn't pause to think that this could be a murder victim. It could be a drowning. It could be a desegmented soul that had a horribly unfortunate passing. The lid was up. I moved toward it. My heart was thundering. I had seen family in the casket. But this was in the wild. In a space that was everyday and normal. I saw the reflecting skin of a plastic sheath over the body. I crept closer and there was the face of an older woman. Somebody's grandma. She was laying there, batteries dry, and out of fuel. She looked at peace. She was beyond the world and I was a mouth-gaped monkey looking at my future. I left the belly and drove home with the radio off. It was so surreal. I never asked about the mysterious people in the belly again. And to note, I only noticed the tail end of the headline on this * secret that you are proud of * as I wrote this. This was just an NSFW secret. No pride. I should have stayed curious. I feel bad that I snuck a peek at that quiet lady in her quiet box. I hooked up with a good friend a bunch of years ago, who had recently gotten out of a neglectful, unhappy relationship. We were just doing it as friends, and everything went back to normal the next day. But immediately afterward, when we were lying there catching our breath, I saw that she had tears in her eyes. I asked if she was alright, and she said yeah, not to worry, she just hadn't been touched or paid attention to properly in such a long time. She'd forgotten it could be like that. That made me feel 10 feet tall. I was even happier when she met the man she wound up marrying, who treats her like a queen. I like to think I helped her realize what she deserved. When my boyfriend, now husband, and I were just getting hot and heavy, made him come 6 times that morning. Thought it was gonna kill us both afterwards, but we were too horny to care at the time. It's not super impressive compared to other people's secrets, but I'm proud of it tbh. I banged a lot of coolers ages 50-60 plus, but def not over 65. It's surprisingly easy and it's a great time. Older women are totally fine with just having a good time together and going on our way afterwards. I still keep in touch with some of them, including my friend's Ant-Man with medium light skin tone shrugging.